Hello, this is the Flying Ross. Today's episode, we're going to cover the ME-262 Alpha-1 Alpha. So this is the German line last jet, it's Tier 19, right after the ME-163 Bravo. Germany has three jets. It has the ME-163, the 262, and then the HE-162 Alpha-2, and is in the interceptor line of the 190s. Technically, it has four jets. There is the jet bomber, but with three 500-kilogram bombs, with absolutely no defenses except for its speed, it is pretty horrible. I've personally killed a couple of these, and, well, yeah. It says 2,000 kilograms, but yeah, it only has three bombs. So, pretty wasteful. Difficult target to intercept, except for when you're using jets. So, pretty large bombs, 500 kilograms, as you can see. There's one under each the fuselage in both engines. But yeah, not something that I would waste money on. But back to the 262. Max speed at 865 kilometers, max altitude of almost 15,000 meters. Pretty much can get above everything. Can get way above the B-17s. Turn time 30 seconds. It seems a little bit faster than that in game, especially with flaps down. Rate of climb 20 meters per second, which actually seems slower than that. For the rate of climb in this is pretty slow. 14.5 kilograms a second, though. 1 second burst is absolutely ridiculous. And 30 millimeter Mark 108 cannons times 4. This is fully upgraded right now. We do have the stealth high explosive incendiary shells, as well as air resistance in the new engine. So we'll talk a little bit more about this as we wait. And this is my beautiful 262. But we're gonna put us on wait right now, and we'll see this in action. So the 262 did enter the war a little bit late, and wasn't really seen until 1944 and 45, where the jets started coming out. They wanted these to be released really in the beginning of the war. It's just the technology didn't come out that fast, and they didn't have any success with it until later on into the war. These could have been a game changer. There was a substantial amount of these actually built during the late of the war, which is kind of surprising. I mean, there was a lot of mechanical difficulties, especially with the engines. The engines were, obviously this is the first generation of jet engines, the first true jet fighter that was released. Hitler wanted to actually use these for ground attack for some reason, and instead of putting entire squadrons on bomber intercept missions, they were used as ground attack. There's variants of the 262 that had bombs. There's variants that had the cannons were solely used for ground attack. But then also later versions did use up to, I think it's a little bit above 51-inch rockets to attack bomber formations. The issue is that they had to change their tactics. There was the boom and zoom of the 109s going through the bomber formations, but usually they would come in at a really shallow angle and at 1 kilometer, and once they closed into about 500 meters is when they started their attack, and then they would climb away. Well, the entire thing is the 262 was moving so fast that it couldn't do a head-on with the B-17s, and it couldn't do a from the tail head-on. So what they had to do is they had to come from a really sharp upper angle, go through the bomber formation, and do what's called a roller coaster. So they would dive down through the formation, firing, and they would only get a couple seconds burst, and it was saying that they would do about like a 3-second burst, and if you actually wanted to aim, it was like 6 seconds, but the time that they had on target was not that much. So they would dive down through the formation, and once they get a kilometer underneath the B-17 formation, they would then pull up, bleeding off their airspeed, and then fire from below. Now, this tactic was, very good, but it did not leave them enough time on the target. So some of the tactics that the 262s developed also was to use these rockets, and they would actually fire them from a kilometer out at level flight of the formation, but abreast. So with the most profile can be seen for the of the B-17, and it was actually proved detrimental to B-17 formations. Later in the war, P-51s as well as Typhoons and many other aircraft were counted kills of the 262, as the aircraft, had very good speed at altitude. The engines performed well at altitude, but they did not perform very well under 300 kilometers an hour, as well as they did not perform well at low altitude. So the thing is, during landing and takeoff, these were extremely vulnerable, and of course on the runway. And that's where a lot of kills were racked up, was when these aircraft were taking off or landing. So, as you can see, we are still waiting for our battle. There's not many high-tier jets. I mean, there's 4,700 people on worldwide right now, and we have a matter of, 2, 4, 5. There's 6 jets in waiting right now. So 2 German, 3 Russian, and 1 British. The Americans, it says 18 and 19, but there are no 18, 19 level jet fighters. Excuse me. And actually, I don't even know if there is an 18, 19 in there. I guess the B-25, I guess someone's trying to fly. I would have to check that. I forget. So as we see the number fluctuating back and forth, 200, 100, 200. Those are games obviously forming. And we're waiting. Now there's a substantial amount of experience that you can earn with the 262 before you have it maxed out. Not that you would need to worry about that, as already in rank 20. There's nothing that you can get really past, and here our game starts. So hopefully we have a good server and a good game, and we will see what happens with this aircraft. Now we're on Lonely Island, which is a ground strike map. Obviously, this is going to be a small game. D12, D13, Corsairs. So this is a ground attack, so fighters and bombers are going to be very few and far in between. Yeah. So we'll see how we do. So anything that you want to do, especially with any German aircraft fighter series, is you want to climb. And especially since this has a really slow climb rate, you want to take your time and get away from the target area and climb. So it does look like we are the only jet on our side for right now. And for right now, the only jet in the entire game. At these higher levels, you will see people wait for the game to start and people to spawn before they spawn. I mean, it's not that bad of an idea, especially with matchmaking how it is right now. Yeah, I've been in games where I'm the only jet, and then there's 3 MiG-15s, a MiG-9, and a Meteor, and an 86. And it's like, seriously, you got 5 or 6 jets against one. Obviously, do you want to go spend 25 grand, or you just want to go find another game? I don't hate on people like that. I mean, it is what it is. These jets do get relatively expensive to repair, especially if you're playing this in historical battle. This is $73,000. And the Germans are at extreme disadvantage against the Allies. The Allies can have more jets and a combination of jets. Like our MiG-15 is really good, has very good armament and insane speed, insane climb rate of 50 meters a second. Where the F-86 is, again, a good climber, but it doesn't have the armament necessarily. It doesn't have cannons. It only has those electronic firing 50 cals. Still, very good aircraft, both of them. But the 262 is at a disadvantage to both. So this 109 is coming either at me or the 190, but either way, we should have him. And there goes 190. As you see, you want to fire a quick succession burst, and I like to do what I call the nose wiggle, and you wiggle up and down on the target, and that means that in a very quick burst, and then you just pull off. You can always come back for a target. You do not want to stay head on with almost anything, except for maybe a MiG-15, and the only reason you want to do that is they fire so slow, you can put a whole ton of lead down, and wherever they moved up and down or left or right, they would be hit. But again, you have to remember that you guys are moving at such a fast speed that, like over here, you gotta pull away, admit that you overshot, and then you can corkscrew down, but you better know what you're doing. So, and he's dead. You will pull a lot of high G maneuvers in not only this jet, but every single jet there is in the game. The F-86 is very good, especially in historical battle. I've seen videos of it pulling upwards to 10 Gs in historical battle, and the aircraft does not rip apart. So that's what you want. Now again, you also want to take care of your jet. You do not want to go through the enemy. And if you do, you want to do it with an insane high speed of rate. You don't want to let anything get on you. Like this Yak 9. Up and down. Wiggle. And hopefully you don't get caught. So. Don't turn for things. Reload. Get away. This is the slowest jet in the game. It climbs the worst out of every single jet in the game. The only thing it has going for it is its insane amount of pure firepower. I mean, it's 4 30mm machine guns. And here's a MiG-9. I don't know if he's coming in or if he already died. I can't really tell. Maybe he got sick of me. Probably was the Yak 9T that I just killed. I really can't remember. But as always, you want to pay attention to not only the who's spawning and who's not, but also your six. And take targets, that you can take. Don't try to, the 262 can perform amazingly well. But the entire thing is, it's not worth it if you're not getting the kills. And if you're just being stupid about things. Do not understand how that missed. But whatever. Sometimes with stealth ammo, you're not getting the best reactions that you would like to see. And basically I just turned all that forward speed I had from the last dive, and I'm gained the altitude back, and now I'm back in this dive again. 15 Gs. Pretty sure I could not have pulled that off in an historical battle. So basically I'm just going solid nose up here. Yeah, I guess the MiG-9 did die. So look at that. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the right hand side, 2 on the left hand side. I mean, we do not want any part of that. So we're at 3,300 meters right now. We got a good altitude advantage. Yes, we only have 2 kills, but the big thing is we have no damage and we are still alive. And that is a clusterfuck. You don't want to go through clusterfucks. You will die. And then you will cry as you hit repair. Again, not doing too good with my aiming today. But again, still alive. Still gaining altitude. Turn that forward airspeed into altitude so you can go through another B&Z attack. You will also chew through ammo, as you can see. These cannons don't actually jam that often unless you're really just laying hard on it. So, don't feel bad if that thing gets a little overheated. It's not going to jam that much. But again, pick your targets. Gain airspeed. It's just unfortunately there's not many bombers. So yeah, this is not the best game I've ever had, but these pilots are being very cognitive of what they're doing. I don't understand how I'm not hitting some of these people. What? There's one. See, but now we're getting ballsy. Hit the ground. Gain that forward airspeed. Ah, that's why you always reload. I had nothing left there. Well, yep, turn the airspeed into altitude. Keep a watch on your 6. Especially in jets, people are going to be very eager to get you. And, I mean, they don't want to die. So. Oh, here's another MiG-9. You want to keep a lookout for jets. I mean, they will spawn out of nowhere, and then you're like, don't let yourself get caught. Oh, there's another MiG-9. So now we got 2 MiG-9s, and now we're going to see how I fare against them. They are faster, more maneuverable. They have a larger cannon. They have a 37mm and 223s. It is a lot more like a rifle and less like a machine gun, though. As always, height is your key. Terrain, your altitude equals speed. Speed equals life, and then you can dive on targets. Make sure you know your aircraft, its capabilities, and what you can do with it. See, we got a critical, but we're going to use that forward airspeed and keep on going. A lot of people are going to want one nose on nose when you really can't give up your tail. But there goes my center fuselage. I got him, but he got me pink. Take this time to reload. The only thing that can catch me right now is a MiG-9. They're staying low. I will more than likely not survive this battle, but that is okay. As long as you make 4 to 5 kills, you will stay in the positive. I mean, most people don't like to just staying in the positive, but sometimes that's what you need. MiG-9s are very easy to shoot on the what's called on the deflection shot, especially when they are turning. That's when you kind of want to get MiG-9s. you cannot turn with them. So if you could catch them in a turn, or what's this is straight forward behind them, okay, and then they're gonna turn, and you can kind of turn with them any which way. Watch your six. Make sure things are where they're supposed to be. If he doesn't want to play, take the time, reload, get altitude. This thing can take some damage, unlike like the 163. The 163 is, a rocket, and they actually have it pretty much programmed in there. If you do get shot with any kind of critical, you will explode. Basically, you will catch on fire and have a bad day. See, that 109 is coming for me. Monix is actually, yep, 109. He's coming for me because he has an altitude advantage now, and then thus he'll have a speed advantage. So there's too many players clumped up together. Now I just got that MiG because I got the critical on him before. So now we got 5 kills. Now we have 1 MiG left. We got 190s, we got 109s. Monix, what is he in? He's in G2 Trop, so he doesn't have the forward firing capability that he had before in the G2, or G6, I'm sorry, which is very scary, especially when he's shoving out 11 kilograms a second. And as you can see, you cannot climb in this aircraft at all, and I just fucked myself. Good thing we can freaking out dive. Now we hit 900. 1100 is actually Mach 1. If you guys didn't know. Yeah, both is 190 up high and BF 109. They want me, understandably as well. Now we're turning all that airspeed into altitude. Pull over. Now we're higher than this BF 109. Now we got the height. And we got nothing. Don't try to turn. Just go. You're never going to out-turn a prop plane. Oh! And that's why I always say check your six. Hit the deck. Gain that whoa! Gain that speed. Don't know how the 190 is keeping up with me, as I'm doing nearly 900 right now. But with absolutely no support, it's really hard to take on multiple prop planes, especially when you have a guy in a lag 3. We do have a leak. We got 6 minutes of fuel left. We have 13 minutes of game time left, and game's over. So there you go, 0 and 5, or 5 kills, 0 deaths, and the 262. As it proves, is 5 kills. It is not the most at all, but I did not die. I almost got caught by which was my mistake, but alas, I lived. Now this is the issue. Is look at that 5 kills with a win is only 31,000. This cost 24,000 to repair. So you're not going to make it rich in arcade with a 262 unless you're doing something magnificent with it. So maybe not the best play of the 262, but 5 kills, 0 deaths, and here is your review of the 262. It is overall a very good aircraft, as well as a good opponent for almost any jet aircraft. It is not as nimble or maneuverable as the 163, and does not have the speed of the 163 or the 162. But with using proper B and Z tactics, you can rule your aircraft in the sky and defeat pretty much anything. Just know your opponents, that the MiG-15 has a 50 meters a second rate of climb, that it has a 20-second turn time, and know its armament. It only has 40 rounds in 37mm, but it doesn't fire that very fast. MiG-9s, 25 meters a second, 28 turn time, so almost the same turn time as you. If they don't remember to put their flaps out and you do, you'll outturn them. Now your Sabres, fast, 17-second turn time, max speed, 1050, but it only has the 1 second burst of 5 kilograms a second. This is probably the worst kilograms a second, except for the HE-162, which is at 2.76 with only 2 20mm machine guns. The Sabre, though, can be a massacre in historic, because MiG-15s and 86s in historic will just own your ass repetitively. Now the Meteor series, I have not played them. As you can see, I don't have them. But you have a better turn time than them. The speed is almost the same as you. The armament, we have better. The only thing, rate of climb, 19 a second there. 37 for the 18s and 17s. So we have better turn time. We can outclimb them, their later models, but they do not have the burst mass that we do. So know what the aircraft that you're going to be up against, and just know your enemy. The KI-200, not that good. Don't worry about it. You'll never see it either. At least I haven't. But be careful of your prop airplanes as well. So you remember that you don't have a good turn time. The speed that you are turning also will always increase the distance and the time that it takes to turn. So you will give the inside deflection shot to a prop plane almost all the time. As you saw that in that replay that we just had, that 190 went head on with us and was able to turn around and get on our tail and only lose 0.4 kilometers off me, which was a pro on his part. I'll give him credit for that. So that is it for the 262 review. I hope you did enjoy it. And if you have any questions or if you want to review any other aircraft, please let me know, and I'll hopefully unlock it and tell you all about it. As always, this is the Flying Ross. Check your 6.